Hello and welcome to Power to the People with me, Graeme Pryce. 4 years, 48 months at least. A lot can happen in 4 years, can't it? If you had a digital Ouija board, you could ask the people in this picture and I'm sure they'd agree with you. It's beautiful though, isn't it? There's Berlin in 1939. It's busy and it's quaint. It has a lot of promise. It's a modern society full of technologically minded people and bright engineers. It's a city full of people looking forward to the day when the man they have placed all their faith in will right the wrongs of World War One and purify the nation and make Germany great again. There's a sickness in that society. And in just 4 years, it led to this. That's not the exact same street, but it is within a few hundred metres of it. That picture was taken late in 1943. That street would endure another year of bombs dropping on it day and night, and then be pulverised by Russian tanks and self-propelled guns eventually. It isn't there anymore, obviously. Modern buildings stand in the same place today, but the road still runs the same course. Doesn't it just? 4 years is a long time. I was just looking at my channel analytics and I was shocked to discover that almost 40% of people who watch my videos aren't subscribed. I was inconsolable. You can go some way towards redressing the balance by just checking that you've subscribed, that you've rang the bell, and that you're hitting the like button before you go. It'll go just some way towards making this skinny old scouser a little bit more cheerful today. Thank you. So, I've decided that I'm going to make this a regular thing. I'm going to call it FASH WATCH Monthly. I could be wrong, and frankly, I hope I am, but it really does look like fascism is back, doesn't it? If it walks like a Nazi, Sieg heils like a Nazi, and talks like a Nazi, then it's probably Elon Musk or a Nazi. And of course, there are some spinning huge shaggy dog stories about how he was just throwing his heart out to the people. No, he wasn't. He's just socially awkward. No, he isn't. He gives speeches in front of tens of thousands of people all the time. He's not awkward. He didn't realise what he was doing. He's autistic. Well, then that suggests a weirdly specific and massive epidemic of autism in 1930s Germany, doesn't it? But also, let's not forget, nobody has diagnosed Elon Musk as having autism. His autism seems to mostly exist in the minds of collaborators who want to excuse his behaviour. Here's the really good one though. He was doing a Roman salute. Okay, I'll take that one. You know why? Because the Nazis literally adopted it from the Romans. Next time you hear someone come out with that utter bullshit about how it was just a Roman salute, just say, okay, so he decided to do the Roman salute, the exact one that was completely redefined around the world by the most fascist governments in history during the most cruel and destructive war of all time, in front of a crowd of right-wing supporters of Donald Trump, a man often compared to Hitler. Do you still want to claim that was innocent? See what they say. It wasn't innocent. He knew exactly what he was doing. He did it twice. He had a teleprompter and an earpiece. Nobody flashed a message across the screen or whispered down his ear saying, "Don't do that, Elon, it looks like a Nazi salute." He did it twice. And in the days following, was he mortified and remorseful? Did he release a statement on Twitter saying his gesture had been misinterpreted and that he never meant to perform a disturbing far-right salute in front of millions of people? No. Did he? Fuck no. No, he made some mildly anti-Semitic comments and said it was tiring to be continually compared to Hitler. Stop behaving like fucking Hitler then. What he was really trying to do was undermine and make mockery of those that he perceives as standing against his ideology in order to delegitimise their criticism. It's a really old tactic, and we've seen it many times before. So, while you might have expected it to be the Orange Mussolini himself, the first fascist of the month is definitely Elon Musk. I don't know where all the different sections of this are going to go yet. I might even get my guitar and come up with some jingles. I mean, I know fascism isn't a particularly comedic subject, and the country with the most military and economic strength in the world falling to the whims of a fat orange fascist jabber isn't exactly great material for stand-up, but, you know, you've got to laugh, haven't you? I mean, of course, we should never sink so low as to find merriment or mirth in the sufferance and bondage of others. We should remember that those that voted for Trump did so through their own obsessive consumption of misinformation, and forgive their naivety as we witness their entirely predictable and public downfalls. Obviously, we shouldn't laugh at the anonymous man who took to Twitter to seek help from fellow MAGA morons after his wife filed divorce papers in response to him voting for the Mango Mussolini, despite his own parents and one of her parents being on welfare assistance that Trump wants to cut or eliminate entirely, if he can get away with it. Apparently, he received divorce papers just days after the election and has already been contacted by his wife's lawyer with a request to meet up and discuss how they are going to liquidate their £300,000 house. Apparently, the last thing she said to him was, "At least you will finally find out what it's like to be fucked by a Democrat." Boom. Roasted. The Leopards said his face tasted mostly of mocha chocolate skinny lattes, Brill cream and impending loneliness. And of course, we shouldn't laugh at the MAGA influencer who made a video saying she finds it funny to see people crying because their family members have been deported and that these people are subhuman, and then subsequently lost her job in a lucrative advertising agency after literally tens of thousands of people contacted her employer and told them what she'd been up to. She made a further video claiming to be discriminated against for her political views. I mean, she just wants to be free to call anybody who isn't a white American subhuman and post disgusting disinformation all over their various social media sites. I mean, whatever happened to free speech? The Leopard said her face tasted very artificially greasy and a bit of collagen and bitterness. And finally, of course, we shouldn't laugh at the man whose Mexican wife only started the process of becoming a US citizen when it started to look like Trump was going to win, and was then subsequently deported within days of old Mandarin Tits himself taking office. He was so distraught, he went on his local news asking Donald to be reasonable and just let his wife stay. he voted for Donald. He had a MAGA hat. He didn't think the leopards would ever eat his face. The leopard said his face tasted of cheap burritos and regret. I haven't given the names of these people because they've already had literally millions of righteous dudes, pernickety plebs and pedantic lefties pointing out that their fuck around and find out attitude has resulted in them indeed fucking finding out. You can Google them now. There's hundreds of stories like this coming out all across America now. What a surprise. I tell you what, there won't be a single hungry leopard in the United States for the next 4 years, will there? Right, well, this was just supposed to be an idea of what I'm going to do each month, but I want to use this as a vehicle to try and uplift my production standards and learn a bit more about editing and everything. That's why I've just called this episode Coming Soon rather than episode 1. I'm thinking that the opening section would usually be a bit longer, so we can have a roundup of what has happened in each month and in what new ways Trump has displayed fascistic tendencies, or which latest department Elon Musk has decided to do a heist on, whether in cash or in information. We'll probably have a section where we discuss the latest countries Trump has threatened to invade and what actual military options and tactics he would have to employ to do so as well. Is Canada about to become the part of World War III that Poland played in World War II? Who knows? Let's hope we don't have to find out. I'm sure there will be plenty to discuss as the oligarchs of the Nerd Reich try to turn the White House into the Shite House. And of course we'll talk about the effect it has on the UK as well. I'm sure, like myself, you will have long suspected there are some genuine fascists among the Conservative Party. I'm already of the opinion that anybody that thinks Trump is anything other than a monster is either stupid, genuinely evil, or both. Here's a good example. Look at the fucking face on that. Anyway, I'm always open to suggestions, but it's going to be a monthly thing and it will be released as a premiere each month so I can engage with a few people in the chat. I'm also going to be releasing my 5 reasons videos as premieres in future for the same reason. So watch this space. Robert Jenrick is next. It won't be hard to find 5 reasons that Robert Jenrick is a twat. Believe me. Thank you for watching if you've gotten this far. I hope in 4 years' time I can look back on this video and think, wow, how silly was I being? I was totally overreacting. I bet I won't though. I'm certainly not suggesting that the streets of America will be in ruins like that picture of Berlin that I showed, but its morality, its law, and its democracy may well be in tatters. Maybe the end product of Trumpism will be somewhere in between. But I think we can certainly say that it doesn't include him being at peace with the way the world is now, can't we? The world is not enough for some people, and neither is all of the money in it, apparently. Speaking of which, if you'd like to support the channel, the links to PayPal, Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee are encamped indifferently in the descriptions box. And as always, the join button for memberships is below. Well, the very nature of series makes it obvious that this isn't all I have to say, but it is as much of what I've got to say as I'm going to say today. Ta-ra. Should have worn my purple t-shirt to do this really, shouldn't I, mate? No. Be bipartisan and all that. Got one of these? Yeah? I thought you might.